Can you believe it? This is just absolutely insane.
Head into the mystery of the African wilderness live right here on Wild Earth.
There she goes. She's coming right towards us.
From the wilds of the Greater Kruger to the majestic dunes of the Kalahari.
Live, this is happening right now.
This is one of the big safari specials on any reserve.
Tune in to meet our captivating animal characters and talk to the experts in real time, only on Wild Earth. This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to And Beyond Ngala. We are currently at Clara Dam with a grey heron. They're in the shot. A couple of hippos underwater. They come up and they pop up every now and then. Some Egyptian geese and quite a strong breeze. You are with me, Rowan, and Odie, just behind the camera. And yeah, we'd just like to welcome you aboard your very own live safari. It's actually quite a beautiful afternoon on And Beyond Ngala. This wind has really dropped the temperature quite a bit. I'm pretty sure you can see all the ripples on the water as the wind is blowing from a southeasterly direction, cooling us down a fair amount. So I'm Rowan, Odie's behind the camera, and we are just going to explore the eastern parts of Ngala today. We thought we would start at Clara Dam, hoping for some elephants to come swimming, because as this morning was very, very hot. Ooh, nearly blowing away, yeah. This morning was very hot and we were hoping that elephants would come, dip themselves, cool themselves down, and as we got here, just one elephant was leaving. So there goes that plan. But from here, I think what we'll do is head further east, check a massive open clearing, see if anything is happening in that area, and then go and look for the Birmingham Pride. They weren't too far from our eastern boundary and a little bit north of this area. See what they're up to. Don't think the entire pride was there, but we'll just have to go see for ourselves in a little bit.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Masai Mara of Kenya. Our cheetah has finally got something to eat. Unfortunately, we've not seen him hunt. My name is Tim and behind camera we have Big James. This cheetah, we followed him since morning. He was lying down in the long grass, but we were expecting or hoping to see him hunt. But that is what happens. Sometimes you wait and you think that nothing's going to happen. But then after you leave and come back, there's something. So he's taking down a baby topi. So that is a good meal for him. Looks like a little bit worried because hyenas sometimes snatch off their kill, even lions and leopard. We call that kleptoparasitism, where we find predators stealing food from other predators. But it's hidden the baby topi inside the long grass, where at least it can hide off from the hyenas. So because cheetahs have a small head and very small canines, they have to start with the groin when they're feeding. Looks a little bit worried because the wind is blowing and you never know when something might approach your way, especially when the wind is too strong. This seems like it happened about half an hour ago because the hind part is still not very much devoured. So it's almost raining, and I think that's the reason why he pulled that baby impala, topi rather, to the long grass. Look at the blood covering his face. And thank you so much for your comment. Indeed. Remember to ask us questions and comments. #WildEarth on the YouTube comment section at FC for our young viewers. Kids question at wildearth.tv. This cheetah looked like he might not get anything this morning because there were a lot of wildebeest around here, and that seemed like a deterrent to him. But possibly because he was not far from a waterhole. I'm sure Topies in the afternoon tried to come and drink, and that's why he isolated that baby Topi and won the prize. Looks like he's very worried. Very, very interesting to see how they devour this carcass. So he has to eat as much as he can, as fast as he can, because when other predators come around this area, then he might be off, because he'll just leave it for them. Because of their small head and their small cannons, that's the reason why they have to start eating from the hindquarters. Their crushing power is not as powerful as compared to the big predators like lion, leopard, and hyena. Most often you find that cheetahs will be chased out of their kills by larger predators, and that's a good place where he's at least kept that baby Topi. Starting with the groin there. Rosalind, thank you so much for your question. How do cheetahs survive in the wild? For them to survive very well in the wild, they have to be in places where it's a little bit bushy, where they can shelter away from predators most often. So despite cheetahs ranging in open habitat, they are actually best or secure in the bushland area. So the reason why there's a decline in cheetah population is because of loss of habitat. So, for example, the cheetah has given birth. They have to hide the young ones in the fringes of the bushes where there are at least no predators within. So the survival rate for cheetahs has to depend mainly on habitat and food supply. So that is one of the main survival for the cheetahs. So that's a good meal that can take the cheetah for about 3 days before he decides maybe to get something else. Or if another predator comes here like the hyenas, then he has to flee and maybe hunt some other time or maybe tomorrow. They're known to hunt during the day because they use that sunlight to hunt. But sometimes male cheetahs have been seen to be hunting at full moon. When there's full moon, they've been seen walking around hunting. But that is particularly the male. But females rather will stay in a secure place for the entire night. Our cheetah looks like he's a little bit worried, but that is how cheetahs when they're feeding. So we're going to stay with him and see what will happen, or if he'll be successful to finish the entire meal as we send you over to another safari vehicle.
Dumela, hello and welcome to a nice warm Twilight Kalahari. You can see these two male cheetah have got the right POA, finding not the largest amount of shade to sleep under for this warm afternoon. Very good afternoon, my name is Kyle and behind camera is Glenn. Welcome to Twilight. And it's quite warm today, 25, is still a nice cool breeze from this morning, that nice chilly wind that we
Well, hello, everybody. I believe that the desert has spurned your attentions and sent you over this side, where mercifully we have a giraffe cow. Now, unfortunately, and not so mercifully, she is walking away from us. Hello, good afternoon. My name is Jamez Hendrai, and on camera this afternoon we have got Bokamoso BK, the biceps, the malingerer. He has been malingering. That is why we're not on bushwalk today. Let us go back to the giraffe. It's lovely to be out this afternoon. It was going to be very hot, but now a storm is coming in, and so it feels quite exciting. The atmosphere is charged, both literally and figuratively. Literally, because I'm sure the electrons are speeding through the clouds, creating little seeds for lightning later on. And figuratively, well, it just feels like an exciting time as the wind's changed and this front moves in. It won't feel quite so exciting when our heads are wet, but there it is. We've come down to the western side of Djuma today to see if we can find sign of Shidulu the leopardess. I haven't found any sign of her just yet. And unless she's stalking this giraffe, which I think is very unlikely, I don't think we're going to see her precisely where we are now. But that's okay. It's a lovely Saturday afternoon. The rattlings of sticklers are rattling. But other than that, it's just the eerie sound, expectant sound of the wind. Matthew, you call a group of giraffe an armada. So you say, oh look, there comes an armada of giraffe across the plains. That's not true, Matthew. You'll find that in textbooks, so in dry biological texts, they'll just call it a herd of giraffe, a temporary herd. Then in slightly more entertaining and fun books, you'll find words like a journey of giraffe, and I think there are a couple of others that they use, but journey of giraffe is the one that we certainly used to teach kids on safari, still do sometimes. A journey of giraffe. But you'll find that those are just fun English terms that we use, like a parliament of owls, for example. You'll never find that in a textbook, largely because owls are almost universally either solitary or in pairs. They don't tend to live in great flocks. But you'll find that all mammals in textbooks, or all herbivores in textbooks, are known by herds, and then there are lots of fun English words for them. And all birds would be flocks, and various other things. It's cooling down. It was very hot earlier. In fact, it was hot by 8 o'clock this morning, and by 1 o'clock it was pretty steamy. And then the wind changed, and this cool breeze in the front of the front came in. And so we shall leave this giraffe to to enjoy the cooling breeze.
All right, welcome back to Twilight. Welcome back on board here. Just appreciating these flat cats and all their magnificent tools, their beautiful body. I mean, it's just beautiful. Look at the coat color. Fantastic. But they are very content with life. Looking at their tummies and how they're laying, it doesn't look like they've recently fed. So hopefully this afternoon we can pick off from where we are moving with Cheetah and Cheetah on the hunt. Hopefully we can get lucky this afternoon with these two boys. But I'd say for the next hour or so they're going to continue doing just this. And this is an efficient way of reserving your energy so that, you know, you can keep your body going for as long as possible. See all the biting flies on them, crawling through the fur. So the fur not keeping just the animal cool, but is also a very efficient form of protection from little insects like these biting flies. Magnificent. About a kilometer, about a half a kilometer from our watering hole. And we've also got a lot of giraffe that's come in for a little drink. So these guys will remain like this. I think we'll visit the giraffe, see if we can get them down at the water. But really nice to see this. Rahel, do all cheetah hunt alone? It depends if they're alone or not. Cheetah's social dynamics is quite varied. You do find cheetah in a solitary form of life. So those individuals that are solitary will hunt by themselves. But as in where these two boys, these are two siblings, these are brothers, these two boys will hunt in joint effort. So the combined weight and as well as strength, these individuals are able to bring down bigger animals in comparison to a single cheetah. So you can find coalitions of 4-5 males together, and so that's a more dominating, a stronger force to be reckoned with. So if the cheetah's alone, yes, it will hunt alone, but a group of cheetah or a pair of cheetah like this, they will hunt together. And they'll also defend together. They are territorial. You do have a bit of advantage, or you can look at it in different ways. It is a bit of an advantage being in a group. There is always advantages of being in a larger group, such as these two boys here. But flat cats. Just trying to keep cool. Alright, we're going to send you off to another beautiful part of this continent, and we'll see you soon. Look at that bird quickly there. Hi, welcome back. Well, from you guys joining us, we've just spotted a beautiful little bird. Look at that. On the ground, it should come back up to the position. There it goes, back to the tree, Glenn. Yes, Glenn has got it. On like a scone, Glenn. Beautiful little bird. You on it? That is a short-toed rock thrush, ladies and gents. Beautiful orange chest and breast. You can see the nice slaty grey neck and head, and then that beautiful white patch between the eyes. Short-toed rock thrush, and this would be a male. Female would look similar colour scheme, but she will just be a little bit duller in the colour itself. Beautiful, beautiful bird. It's always a treat to see these thrushes. And it looks like it's busy hunting right now. It flew down twice to the ground, back up to that exact position. Oh, red hartebeest in the background. Just above the short-toed rock thrush, there's a red hartebeest, and you can see the heat coming off the ground. So in the mix of summer here, the ground or surface temperature can be 10-15 degrees hotter than the ambient temperature. And that's where some remarkable adaptations come into play to reflect and push that heat back onto the ground. I think there's a woodpecker in the tree here as well. Oh, on the right there, Glenn. On the right, go right, go right. Just go slightly right. Beautiful woodpecker, look at that. Oh, beautiful. That is a cardinal woodpecker. How amazing to see that. Fantastic. Laughers, laughers, laughers. That always makes me happy. Wonderful. So that bird, that woodpecker is specially designed to scale up vertical surfaces. Oh, that red hartebeest looking really good in the background. Glenn, can you go to the right there? Sorry, Glenn. Glenn is just making everything possible up a bit for us. There we go. Look at that. Oh, there's male and female. Male on the right, female on the left. Male's got that beautiful, very prominent red patch on his head going around his neck. And the female's got the dark cap. Beautiful. Oh, it's going to give itself a headache. So the beak, the skull, is specially designed to endure this battering. And these birds are busy feeding right now, so opening up little cavities which have been created from things like beetles. Beetles will bore into the tree, lay their larvae inside there, where it's nice and safe, and cover it. And then birds like this have the tools necessary to get into these little cavities to get a little meal. Oh, short-toed rock thrush back in view. Wonderful. Oh, this is a great birding tree. I think we'll stay here for the afternoon, guys. So the remarkable thing about a woodpecker's tongue, it is actually used to give the brain a little bit of cushioning. So the tongue has got little spikes on it. It's quite long, and it wraps around the back of the skull and wraps all the way to the top of the head and is attached somewhere on the front of the skull. And from all this activity, all this hitting the wood, that tongue actually is a little bit of an absorbent from these high pressure blows from the activity of finding food like this. Hanging upside down, look at that. Specialized foot structure, so you've got 2 toes facing forward, 2 toes facing backwards, and that is designed to grasp and hold on to the wood. And they also use, if you look there, that female, look at how she's using her tail, propping her tail up and actually pulling herself towards that branch, getting a nice grip. So those shaft feathers are actually designed hardier. They're a lot stronger and a lot thicker than a normal bird's shaft feathers. And you can see the camel thorn, what it's providing here. Is our cheetah still there, Glenn? Yes, they are. so these two boys are 8, 9 years old. That's a good innings for cheetah. In the wild, they make it to 6, 8 years maximum. Sometimes 12 years of age. That's the maximum that a cheetah would live in the wild. In captivity, they've been recorded at living a little bit longer, actually quite much longer. But these two boys have had a very good innings. They still look very good and very healthy for their age. But it'll be soon, in a year or two, there'll be younger, stronger cheetah that would displace these two males. Oh, Elisa, does the hot sand play havoc on the pads of these animals? So that's a great question. So the pads, over years and years of walking, they are fairly tough. They've got a very leathery feeling to them. So giving them the advantage to walk over hot sand, I think if the surface was extremely hot, they would definitely feel the heat coming through. But just from the wear and tear and the constant use of the pads on the sand, they become quite thick and quite resistant to the friction and the movement. Little things like, you got to think about a little animal like a meerkat. I mean, their soles, their pads are thicker to endure this very, very hot Kalahari sand. So so it wouldn't play havoc, it wouldn't detrimentally affect them. They would still be able to walk over, quite hot surfaces through the summer periods. So not affecting them in a negative way, let's say it that. So if you got your dog at home, if you've got a dog and you feel your dog's pads, from the constant walking on those pads, they become quite tough. Whereas in these boys' pads will be relatively hard. Allowing them to walk over hot sand. I mean, our feet won't be able to withstand the heat. Here in the Kalahari, you wear slops all the time. If you don't wear slops, you're wearing your vellies. Veldskoen, field shoe, translated from Afrikaans. And otherwise, you don't want to touch the sand with your feet. We're going to send you off, and we'll see you just now.
Jumbo everyone, once again it's another lovely afternoon. Here I have my beautiful family of grey-crested cranes. Those two are the sub-adult young ones that we've been seeing, and it looks like they're doing really well. A very good afternoon, and Jumbo. My name is Isaac, and on camera we have Bungei. We're set out here at the marsh, ready to give you and bring you this live safari. And to start with, for us, we have this very beautiful grey-crested crane. It's a family that, since we found them with their chicks, we have been seeing them almost every other day. They have become part of us, and it's such a wonderful gift to have and observe. This is the beautiful grey-crested crane, a bird that spends, what happened there? Spends a lot of its time on the ground, feeding on lots of creepy crawlies, from small fishes, grasshoppers, spiders, dung beetles. What is that he's holding? Are they playing, or they found a new toy? Looks like the little guys are playing. Yeah, they feed on a lot of seeds from different grasses, shrubs, even fruiting small shrubs they feed on. You can tell that these guys haven't, really received their full plumage. A little bit scruffy here and there. It's coming, but it's not 100%. You can tell that they have that cheek coat that is disappearing, the little bit of yellow and grayish. But in the next maybe 1 month, we'll have the full plumage, which is going to be very colorful, and they're going to look like these two beautiful adults, male and female. Sometimes you can identify the male. He's slightly larger. I would say he's the farthest one away, but the best way to identify them is when they're mating. When mating, the male does these, dance that is very, very beautiful, and that's one of the only ways of identifying the male. They love this area because there is enough sorry, I didn't, hear the whole name, but you ask, what are their predators? Predators vary, their predators vary from pythons in the swamp, in the marsh, jackals, leopards, and, big birds of prey. When these chicks are young, they could take them, like a martial eagle, a crowned eagle. Even hyenas will prey on them. They will take advantage when they're not flying, like right now. They will take advantage of that. Yes, Bungei, I think you're telling me it is raining over there. Behind that ledge there, or the Olololo Syria escarpment, it is raining, and in front there you can see all the wildebeest and zebra. They are leaving the marsh. They've been here all day, and they are leaving the marsh to head out into the plains. They just arrived yesterday, and this morning we have seen hundreds of thousands, in the marsh, and looks like they feel it is safer further out in the plains. The rains we are receiving are localized rains. This is a month where we should be receiving a little bit of rain, so we're not complaining. It's very, very welcome. And it means these guys might stay a little bit longer. Although they have overstayed their stay already, they might stay a little bit longer. So this afternoon, there's no sunshine. It's a bit cloudy. You can hear the thunder. So yes, that is the thunder. I'm gonna let you enjoy this view, and I'm gonna move on and find something else.
Wonderful tall horses at the pan. Beautiful little herd of giraffe coming to get a late afternoon drink. So on cooler weather, these guys can consume 10 to 12 liters of water a day. But in hotter days now, when we start getting into winter, a bull can take up between 30 and 48 liters a day. Not being water dependent, obviously their behavior, their feeding behavior, browsing off bushes or eating off bushes, allows them to accumulate a little bit of moisture. But when water is available, you're definitely going to have a little drink, just to cool the body down. It's quite a young group of giraffe. Female, the bigger one there on top, busy browsing. You can see how small and thin her horns are, or ossicones. And there's currently little black tufts of hair on top there. Clear indication that that is a lady. Looks like she's eating off the biltong bush. See those seed pods being quite nutritious. Allowing her to take in extra nutrients in comparison to what she would be with just leaves. And seed pods have got quite a lot of nutritional content to it. And look how mobile those lips are. Remarkable creature this is. Very sharp animals. I've used giraffe lots to pick up on predators. They are very, very acute senses allow them to pick up predators from far distance. Eyesight is great, hearing is pretty good, sense of smell is pretty good as well. The eyesight is definitely number one. Or we might have a drink here. Are giraffes scared of lightning? I think everybody's scared of lightning somewhere along the lines. It's quite a loud noise. But are they physically scared of it? I'm not too sure, to be honest with you. I would say that the sound would definitely give most animals a fright. Even a lion would be scared of a big thunder clap. But are they physically scared of it? I don't think so. I have seen one or two incidents where giraffes have been hit by lightning, unfortunately, being quite a tall animal. But I think they would be a little bit on nerve, a little bit on edge when we do have big lightning and thunderstorms. Yes, it's going to go for a drink. Quite remarkable how they get all the way down to the water now. And do some yoga. Wow. And how beautiful is the reflection of that animal. RJ, how old is that giraffe? RJ, I'd put the smallest one. I'd put that smallest one anywhere between 3 and 4 years. Yeah. Giraffe grow really quickly in their first year, so you can be tricked, let's say it that, on estimating or guesstimating their age. For the first couple of years, they grow like brand new shoots, like little seedlings. Because obviously that in their younger years, they are most vulnerable when they are very, very small. So, for example, when a giraffe is 3 meters tall, it would be around about 4 years old. And then they're bigger. Whoa! What was that? A little hop and skip. Do you think it's just happy that it had a drink? So a giraffe that stands around 3 meters tall, would be a year. And then 4.5 meters, it's 4 years. And then a bull over 5 meters is around about 7 to 8 years of age. So I hope I said that right. So a giraffe that stands 3 meters tall would be 1 year of age, which is quite remarkable. When they're born, they're 1.2 meters and weighing 100 kilograms. That's remarkable. And then when it's about 4.5 meters, it would be around about 4 years. And then a bull itself at 5 meters is around about 7 or just over 7 years of age. So I would put this one almost around about 2-3 years. Wow. All right, we're going to sit over here with these giraffe. We're going to send you off to another safari vehicle.
Baby giraffe are so cute, especially when they're small and young. Now back here in the Mara, it's rained a little bit, so the cheetah is a little bit wet, but still not deterred by rain and carrying on with eating. You can see almost the entire half of the baby topi is consumed. Now as he keeps on feeding, he has to have a look and scan around for predators and then carry on eating. Remember I told you they need to eat as much as they can, as fast as they can, so that by the time predators come in, at least you'll be have had something. So this cheetah looked like he was very hungry. And thanks to one of the viewers, we've already identified the cheetah as LOT. Very tall grass, a good place where you can hide this meal. But as soon as he finishes feeding, because it's a small topi, small kill, then he'll walk out, definitely out of there. Because if hyenas get the scent, they'll definitely come to this spot. He's one lucky cheetah because previously I had thought that he will not be successful because there's lots of zebras and wildebeest. But sometimes the rules of nature change and they get the opportunity and get the advantage. Thank you so much for your question. The use of the cheetah tear mark is very, very important, especially during the hot days when it's super sunny. It helps protect the sun glare. So, for example, the cheetah is running after a kill or chasing prey. As they're running towards the direction of the sun, then the black markings help prevent the sun glare. Just like the American football, how they paint over the eyes, it's simply much the same. So it's very, very important for the cheetahs because they depend on the day, on the daylight to hunt. And if they use that, it's really, really helpful for them. So that's not a big meal, so it at least can keep him for about 2-3 days before he gets to his next meal. Because we have lots of lions around this area, so the cheetah move to a less populated area from other big cats. And that's why sometimes we go for days without seeing cheetahs. There's lots of hyenas. We have big hyena clans. We have big land prides here. And with the movement of prey, these cats keep on moving from one pride area to another. Let's watch this cheetah as it carries on eating as we take you over to another safari vehicle.
I'm probably going to reintroduce myself in this wonderful location that we're at, but you're looking at a tiny little Egyptian goose gosling battling the waves today at Leopard Dam. My name is Taylor McCurdy, and on camera with me is Sebastian Romby, and we are here at Pridelands. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it, but there is a pair of Egyptian geese making quite a bit of noise in the middle of the dam. They're very, very concerned parents. The wind has picked up, and the terrible weather is on its way again, so it's quite difficult for these young goslings to navigate the water. You can see, look how the wind is pushing about some serious waves. So I think we only saw 2 earlier, but now it looks like there's 4 little goslings there, which is a shame because these Egyptian geese can lay up to 22 eggs. And if you're fortunate enough and they do all hatch and you catch them within their first couple of days, it's quite something to see them all bundled up with one another. But just the 4 of them, and they're not staying out in the middle of the water. They're typically going to the edge of the banks, as these little ones, well, you can see they're struggling in the wind today, so they're going to get a lot more tired, or quite quicker than they normally would. So off they go to the edge of the bank. And also with lots of predators out here, especially ones that fly around in the sky in the forms of African fish eagles. and a number of other raptors, they'll definitely snatch up those chicks if they get the opportunity. So they're quite well protected on the edge of the banks, but you can see all those trees and overhanging branches hanging about there. There they go, straight out of the water and underneath the branches. And mom and dad panicked, come back, that's too far. Very protective parents, as you can see. But the chances of these 4 goslings making it to adulthood are very slim, which is quite sad. The fact that they've got so few left and they look very, very young still. They still look like killer whales. If we get to have a close look at them, they've got pretty much got the markings of those beautiful, well, an orca, maybe you know them as orcas, as those marine mammals. But off they go. And there isn't much out at Leopard Dam this afternoon. No buffalo lingering, no elephants. But with the rain that we've had in the low veld, you can imagine we've actually had rain all across the greater Kruger, which is fantastic, and lots of it. I think that a lot of the breeding herds of elephants and the big herds of buffalo have now moved a little bit sort of to, I don't know, the sort of southeast in towards the basalt plains, where the grass will be growing very tall and very quickly.
Alright, a few individuals have moved off. This young male is torn between going with the rest of the group and looking at the 2 shell ducks resting on the water's edge. And he is so intrigued about these 2 little objects resting on the ground. Obviously, he looks foreign, and just like I've mentioned, giraffe are very curious by nature. So he's just like mind mapping, what is going on here? Should I go? Oh, big bull coming from the back there. Glenn, do you see it coming through there? Wow, big bull coming through the back. Also come into the water. It's a really beautiful afternoon. Jackie, do giraffe ever play in the water? I have never seen a giraffe play in the water. I've read that they will cross shallow streams, but they're unable to swim. So if they hit deep water, it would have to be fairly deep for them. Obviously, they're unable to swim, but they will cross through like muddy little banks and muddy little streams to get to other sides. But playing in water, I've never ever read or never ever heard of giraffe enjoying the aquatic side of things. Very, very interesting question. Yeah. Because it's only something like that you would have to see it to believe it, you know. It would look a bit awkward, this giraffe playing and wallowing around in the water. But yeah, designed solely to be terrestrial based. Wow, look at the size difference of these 2 animals. So that's a very mature bull. So that gentleman's over 7 years of age. At his height, that's about 5.5 meters coming through there. So males that fully grown would be nearly a meter taller than a female. And so this older bull is looking at this younger individual now. It's also a bull, a young male. But how beautiful is that individual? Wow. What a beautiful scene. It could be a painting, Glenn. Nice one. Glenn's got a very artistic side. Framing up and making this giraffe just look magnificent. He's also going to go for a drink. So you got to think about when this animal goes for a drink. It's quite a remarkable thing. You think about the blood rushing to the animal's head. What is the function of the horn? Oh shit, Glenn, here at the ground, there's a cobra. There's a cobra here. Sorry guys, there's just a Cape Cobra right at our vehicle here, and I don't want it to go underneath the vehicle. Sorry, so I'm just going to move. Oh shit, Can you see it there, Glenn? Oh my word. That's our stick from the other day, folks. That's why situational awareness in the bush is a very important thing. It came up on the side, and I just caught from the corner of my eye the scales shining. Oh my heart. So that is definitely the same stick that we saw the other day at the hole. It's going back to the same hole. Oh my word. But how beautiful is that animal moving on the surface there? Just effortless, like it's gliding. Beautiful dark morph, Cape cobra. I'm fairly excited as well, but on another level. So I just stood up there just to deter the animal away from the vehicle. I didn't want to start the vehicle to scare it off. But my movements, you could see that, I don't know if you folks got that picture where it did raise its head and expand its hood. I just didn't want to go out in the vehicle, because if it ends up in the vehicle, to get it out is a bit of a tricky obstacle, and then obviously you never want to hurt an animal. It could go in between, the wheel arch and the axle, and it could could hurt itself. So we wouldn't want that. So just by me standing, I could see the movement, and then from there it was deterred. But unbelievable. So this is the mating period for Cape cobras right now, and that's why in the past few days we've been seeing quite a lot of them. And I'm surprised that this individual is going back to that same hole. Oh, my word. Everybody okay? Oh, unexpected. That's the beautiful thing about being in the bush. Everything is just it's unwritten, untold. It's just fresh and new all the time. So that will be a nice information for Tilo, a gentleman that's busy working in conjunction with Twilight Foundation and doing research on these magnificent creatures to understand a bit more about them. Because like I said, we hardly know nothing about them, and they are a very widely distributed species of snake. And so better understanding their ecology and ethology is very important so that we can protect them. And that's what Twilight Foundation is trying to do, is looking at multiple species within the Kalahari, but looking at the system, what is happening to the actual ecosystem itself. So once we've got the data, we can then push that forward to better protect it. Is there any more snakes? Whoa, Layla, is that snake poisonous? Yes, it is. It holds one of the most potent out of South African snakes in terms of its potency. It's what we refer to as a neurotoxic venom that the animal would use to subdue prey. So yeah, it is a very, very, very strong, one of the strongest I think in Africa, if I'm not mistaken. So if that snake had to have unfortunately bitten me, I've got a couple of minutes before artificial respiration would have to be taken in. So with snakes, you've got to be very careful with things like that. And looking at that snake, what possesses that venom category will be possessed by a certain type of dental structure. And other types of dental structure will hold other types of venom. And it's all perfectly suited to the snake's habitat or food items. Also its habits, how it hunts. So that gentleman or that snake is a very quick snake, actively hunting small rodents, birds, lizards, other snakes. It is a cannibal, so it will eat other snakes as well. So yeah, it is poisonous and would do a little bit of damage. That giraffe just looking like, should I have a nibble? All right, we're going to send you off. We'll see you shortly.
Afternoon, everyone. How are you? We are well. It's me, Trishada, with Paul on camera. This afternoon, when he started off drive, it was really, really hot. And now the weather has turned. And I am in the middle of a block. Kalamba was seen on the dam cam. So I'm trying to relocate her. Apparently, she went behind a termite mound and then was not seen again. So she could be anywhere in this block. Anywhere in this block. And that's why I've just... because we've been moving and moving, so that we basically only hearing the sound of the vehicle. So I'm going to sit here and listen as much as I can. Oh, apparently I look like I'm a dubbed movie. I'm out of sync. Sorry, guys. You can look at the wonderful bush instead of trying to interpret what my lips are doing. So now I'm listening out for the sound of a squirrel or a bird. It doesn't have to be a big alarm call. It doesn't have to be one of the antelope. One of the small ones, because we know that she is in this block. So we just need one animal to give us a clue. And what I might do is come out and go to the top, to the fire break, and then work my way downwards. Hopefully she's still moving. Hasn't gone down somewhere. All right, so let me make my way out of the block and up to the fire break, and let's go with that plan.
Well, here at the marsh, it never disappoints. I've come across quite a good number of elephants, but they seem to be moving farther away from me. I don't mind. We have a zoom camera that can, pull them closer. That is the kind of environment we are in. This looks like one of the females. We know her with one long tusk. I also have known her for quite a long time, and looks like they're here enjoying a bit of grass, and maybe they're going to move into the trees and browse, feed on the brushes. Remember, this is the African elephant. Loxodonta africana, an animal that is doing very, very well. We have a population currently of over 40,000 in Kenya, and it is increasing due to, strict conservation projects that have been put in place. The numbers are coming back. Before, we were losing about one every 15 minutes, but now they're very safe. They're being protected, so there's nothing to worry. I'm hoping that the numbers are going to increase. Let's move further up and see what we can find, because looks like they didn't want to become famous, and so they left the road. Further up the road, I can see that there is 2 lionesses, and so I'll be seeing you when I get there. And as I drive, let me take you to another live location.
Joy and rapture unforeseen. For now, the Nkuhuma Pride has cast aside all expectations and come to the boundary of Buffelshoek and Djuma to have a sleep. There they are. They did not stay where they were this morning. They decided to move, which is very kind of them. And here they are. The entire Nkuhuma Pride. This is as close to them as I can get, so I can't move around much because they are just inside Buffelshoek, which is the reserve to the north of Djuma. But we've got lions. Fantastic. There's also a male who is lying in the grass in front of us. I suspect it's the dark mane male. I think that's him. I can't see properly. Yeah, it looks like him. Haven't seen him for so long. Anyway, the good news is that they've been moving slowly towards the south, which means that if and when they actually decide to get up and do something useful, they will probably come down towards us, which would be marvellous, as they say in Australia. Is that really your name? Yonassi. How do we spell Yonassi? Yonassi, if that is your name, predators do eat each other. Leopards specifically will target other predators. They eat jackals readily, where they catch civets. They take mongoose quite frequently. Lions less so. But we do know of examples of lions eating other lions sometimes, but that's normally after a battle. It's unusual, but they do it. Interestingly, it would seem that very little will eat a hyena. And so when we have seen hyenas killed by lions, normally the lions have left the hyena alone. But yes, in answer to your question, they do eat each other. Now, I suspect that we're being privileged to have this movement simply because the weather has turned. And so, although I'm not sure that they're about to get up and do a 10-mile training jog, I think that they might get moving sooner than they might have otherwise. Apparently, Mohawk is that male lion. Well, I'm most impressed that all of you have been able to identify him from that particular site of him. But thank you very much. I'm not surprised you can. I'm just impressed. Yes, Liz, a lion can definitely kill a leopard, and a lion would kill a leopard, and lions do kill leopards when they can catch them. Lions kill anything that they see as competition, including their own species, so they'll kill each other. If a leopard was stupid enough to get into a lion's way or was snuck up upon by a lion, then yes, it would definitely kill them. And leopards will shoot up a tree in the presence of lions. They don't stand their ground. Remember that although on screen they probably look relatively similarly sized, that lioness weighs in the region of 120 kilograms, and a female leopard in this part of the world weighs between, they'll say around 35, but I reckon 40 to 45 kilograms. So, less than half. Coupled with that, the lion, remember, is prepared to take a risk because it lives in a pride, and so a nick or injury doesn't necessarily preclude them from eating because they've got friends to do the hunting.
Hi, Abel. What's the location? I just don't want to bump you.
Lioness is having the best scratch. And what is so amusing, of course, is that her tongue seems to be moving at the same time as her foot, which I find very funny. So I think we'll just sit here and see what they do. Maybe they'll come south.
Welcome back. We've checked the area. There's no other snakes near us. It's always nice when something unexpected like that happens. It definitely gets the heart racing and beating at a quicker pace. Definitely know that you're alive. So just to deter it there, obviously I don't want the snake to get hurt. So we think it actually came from the water. It was sitting in a spot where the vehicle must have been just obscuring it, and it was just making its way to shade. Obviously the vehicle being a bit darker, creating shade, and it was just coming to rest, that's all. But just lightly push it off and let it do its thing. So this male giraffe just staring off into the distance. He's also decided that he's going to follow that little group that was here at the watering hole. But a really impressive looking bull that is. Oh, the question, what were the function of those two horns? There was a question asked when we had that little encounter. Those two horns are used specifically by males. Those two horn-like projections are referred to as ossicones. When giraffe are born, those little bone-like projections are suppressed, and within a few days they erect, and then after a couple of weeks they physically fuse to the skull. Males use them for fighting in a display known as necking. So you can see Glenn is pointing out beautifully there. It is bald, or it's worn down on top of those ossicones, and that's from the constant wear and tear, the battering that those two projections have gone through to wear the hair that should be on top there down to the actual bare bone. So males use them for fighting, and you can see how thick and how dead straight they are. Males are thicker and straighter than females. Females will be thinner, bending into one another, and then black tufts of hair present right on top, because females don't practice this behavior of necking. So a very important tool and weapon for the males, and that's all in the hopes of fighting for a beautiful lady. Wow, look at that. Just go out there for us, but Glenn, they're all crossing through the bushes here. Just see all the heads peering up and over the vegetation. What a beautiful sight. A journey, a tower or a stretch, whichever one you prefer. Glenn was asking earlier, why is there a few collective nouns for giraffe? I think because everybody just loves giraffe. And in terms of conservation efforts, we have to do everything to ensure these magnificent creatures for future generations. Because who doesn't love a giraffe? So more than likely going to go do an afternoon stint of feeding. Obviously feeding through the large majority of the day. Oh, Liz, how fast can a giraffe run? So a giraffe has quite a large gait, so the position between the front and hind legs. And when they're at full tilt, I mean, they could hit 50, 60 kilometers an hour, which is fairly fast. It also has quite a high degree of stamina. It can keep that pace up for quite a while. I've even read illustrations that sorry, I just heard a bird there. So yeah, 50, 60 kilometers an hour, and then they've got the stamina to keep that going for quite a while. It's pretty incredible. But quite a wide gait between the two legs, where the front legs will work with each other and the hind legs will work with each other when they run. But when they walk, it is the right hand set that moves together and then the left hand set that moves together. It's quite remarkable to see that walking format change depending if the animal's walking or running.
Not much has changed here, except that there's a quite affectionate tapping of the head of one of the lionesses by one of the young lions. Oh, the big male's up. He's moving to greet the rest, I think, and he's back down again. I don't think he's going to go and say hello to them too much, because they tend not to be that tolerant of having the males all around them. And often you'll find a male lying away from the pride. Like I say, I can't really get a better view of him right now. He's sitting quite regally though. If he just take 3 steps forward. Sorry, can you just repeat that question? I'm just trying to hear it again. Do lions get traits from their parents? Is that what you said? Ian, I'm not sure what you mean by traits, but yes, of course they get their traits from their parents. I mean, they are 50% dad and 50% mum, and so they get all of their traits from them. Do they get personality or behavioral traits from their parents? Well, that's a little bit more difficult to answer. I would suggest that yes, they probably do. If a particularly, I don't know, let's say there's a particularly aggressive male lion, it's possible that he could pass that on to his kids. But I don't know that we know enough about the genome of lions to be able to answer that question effectively. I think there's a lot of learning that goes on as well, and to try and decide which is very difficult, especially in the absence of really understanding the lion genome. I mean, we don't really understand our own genome. Remember also that studies like that are difficult because it's very seldom one gene that is responsible for anything at all. So if you identify a gene that has an effect on a particular trait, it may or may not work in combination with a whole lot of other genes, and on a microbiological level, the genes that interact to produce a particular trait or other may not even be on the same chromosome. There could be completely different parts of the genome. Look at the little cub playing with dad. It's always my favorite thing to see. Oh, that's very sweet. Behind the bush. Let me see if I can just try and get a better view of that, because that's really quite sweet. Biko, let me move. I'll just do a little bit of a turn through here, but I don't think we're going to get much better view, I'm afraid. There we go, how's that? It's a little bit better. There is a great profusion of sticks in the vicinity. Let's see if they have a little play or if they just go back to sleep.
From the lions to our lone elephant bull, who's slowly eating. Look at his back, he's been rained on, it rained a little bit here. So the grass is moist, has water, and he's enjoying that. There's another bull that was with him, but he's gone into the bushes. So these young bulls, sometimes they mix up with other bulls, form what you call bachelor herds. And from the very young age, this elephant was in his natal herd. And when they get to the adolescent age, they will walk out of the herd. So at about 12 to 15 years, that's when they leave the herds. So they will carry on with older bulls and walk from herds to herds. And when they're traveling together, they search for mates, and that will help them also control inbreeding from the member herds. So once these bulls become adolescent, they start discovering their role to play in the herds. They will learn the rules about adulthood, social interaction with other bulls, and mating etiquette. So sometimes when you see a bull like this, sometimes in the fringes you find that there are older bulls that accompany them. So once they leave the natal herds, they'll be walking with the older bulls who teach them the survival etiquette, survival instincts, survival how to cope around this environment. And sometimes you find they walk long distance in search of water, in search of food, security also, because these older bulls have the experience from when they were teenage to how old they've become. Now, these younger bulls that associate themselves with the bigger bulls, we call them askaris. Askari is a Swahili word which means guard. So sometimes we have guards who will walk with these big bulls. They don't have permanent territory. They walk from one area to another, covering a wide range. So the elephants are not territorial. So these bulls sometimes will hang around here. You find the next day they are about 1 kilometer or 2 away. So the communication that is around here, he can understand or learn or even hear the other bull that is within this area. Sometimes they stop and pause. That tells you there's a communication that went through, and then they carry on eating. It's not too hot, so that's why he's not flapping his ears that much. The temperature has cooled down because it just rained, and he's enjoying every bit of this place. So these bulls will sometimes be in about 4 to 5 bulls. Sometimes I've seen up to 10 bachelors, which you don't often see. But when you come across elephants, it's always wonderful and nice to see them, because these pachyderms or these bulls excite, because sometimes when these herds come around, you see them walking through the matriarchs chasing them away because they don't want them close to the calves or the young elephants. It is always nice when you see them by themselves. And also very important to see elephants out in the wild, because their numbers had gone down, but we're happy that the numbers are now rising up. We have a big population around here. So I'll wait here to see if the other bull will emerge out of the bushes and if they'll carry on to walk to the plains where there's enough grass as we take you over to another safari vehicle.
And keep on her. Something. I've seen her do this before. Oh no. The radio switched off.
So, we managed to find one of the young females of the Birmingham Pride. She is looking for the rest of the Pride, so you can see her nose is head down, basically on the path, trying to follow the scent. So we know exactly where we left them this morning, but then a herd of buffalo came past, and we could see where all the tracks went of the lions chasing the buffalo, and she managed to lose the rest of the Pride. So what we're hoping for is that if we follow her, see, there she goes as a trot again. If we follow her, she'll lead us to the rest of the Birmingham Pride. Fingers crossed It hasn't been easy, and she's literally running in circles. Every now and then, just a soft contact call, hoping that the rest will answer. Let me try find a gap through here again. Quite an interesting way of finding her. I went for a walk to follow the tracks of the rest of the pride, and I was coming back to the vehicle, and Owen had his headphones off, and he said, "Oh, can you hear that?" And I said, no, which direction? And he said, "Somewhere here." And then as I looked to our right, this lioness was about 30 meters away. Both of us staring at each other, very surprised to see each other. Just really going in circles. I mean, we were just parked there. So yeah, quite a nice way of finding her. Just hope she can find the pride. Especially the wind has really picked up a lot. She's in a bit of a panic. You can see the way she's moving quite quickly. But for those of you that fear for her life, don't worry, you can let that fear go. She'll be perfectly fine. She is quite large already. And if you remember from a couple of weeks ago, the white lioness was away from the pride for, I don't know, about a good week, and she was a lot smaller. I think she's struggling to catch the scent of the pride in this wind. So I think we'll try keep with her as much as possible. As you saw, I just did one enormous loop. So maybe I'll just park off here and let her circle around us. But I think let's stay here for a little while and follow her, see if she can take us to the rest of Birmingham Pride.
All right, just looking at this wonderful watering hole. Just busy taking a look for any tracks of any predators coming in here. Obviously a great spot for these animals to come through and get a little drink and obviously grab an unexpected hoofed ungulate. But what we were looking at is a bird on the far left side of there. I was just trying to ID it. Glenn, can you punch into that bird for us again, please? There's a bird right on the other end there. Very small bird. At this point of the year, we're having a lot of birds migrating down from the northern hemisphere, coming to spend a bit of time here in South Africa. And I'm always on the watch for a new bird that I haven't seen yet. That common ring plover that we had the other day was a new one for Tswalu's list. We haven't had a sighting of it yet, and was a new one. So for me, absolutely great. So beautiful afternoon. The shell ducks are good. There's still currently 2 here. I'm going to have to look at my bird book just to ID that bird. But always good just to look at tracks and signs left behind by animals. But what we can look at is this wonderful mark here on the tree. Glenn can get a little bit closer for us. And I want you folks just to look at the coloration of the tree, the trunk itself. You can see there's a distinctive difference with colors on this lovely little camel thorn here. So at the bottom section, you can see it's a little bit lighter. Just going to put this down quickly. And I want folks to give us your opinion. What could have left this over here? So you can see there's a lighter coloration going on over here. And there's a dark spot a little bit higher. So this over here looks like a bit. I want to see who can give us the answer. Who could have put mud onto a tree? This patch over here is very, very nice to see. And also a telltale sign for the one tree which they mark it every single time that they come to this area. They'll come up over here, they'll smell around, they'll more than likely drop a scat, and then this specific tree around, tail up and urinate. And this is over years and years and years of... Cheetah are very distinctive with their habits, especially their territorial habits, going to the same tree or the same mound and continuously marking at that spot. And that is telltale of these two boys within the area. But that little lighter patch at the bottom, sorry about the audio there, but that little lighter patch, I want to see who can give us an answer of who could have put mud onto that trunk of that camel thorn. And that was recent. That's yesterday, I think, or the day before yesterday. It looks very, very recent. There's also some nice hair in it, nice dark hairs. But the height should be a dead giveaway. It's just around about below my knee, let's say at that. So maybe a half a meter. Oh, a hippo and Ellie. Unfortunately, we don't have Ellies here. Ellies back in the day would have migrated through this area. We don't have elephants on Tswalu. It would be wonderful if we did, but the impact that elephants would have on the ecosystem here would be tremendous. And then, unfortunately, no hippos. We don't have water for a long enough period to sustain and have hippos. But a little bit smaller, it's like a small hippo. Runs around, it's got 2 tusks. A little bit smaller. Rhino's about a meter, so it'll be almost to where my shoulder was at that tree. You've got to think a little bit smaller. Think about under your knee, a little animal going to the mud, wallowing, and then once he's done a bit of wallowing, he's going to do a bit of scratching. Yay! Warthog! Well done, Bianca. Yes, that would have been...
Sorry about that, guys. But, hurrah, we have found Clara, as you probably saw. When I didn't know I was live. But there she is. She's doing something very interesting. So firstly, she moved a lot, and she moved a lot east, and I found her on Gowrie Cutline. And if it weren't for the hardy-das that were going crazy, and me saying, fine, you want some attention? I'll give you some attention. And then underneath the hardy-das was Clara. But let's move forward a little bit. And she's doing something very interesting because she's going to every bush and she's pouncing at the base of the bush. As if she's trying to hunt something very specific, like Franklin. So I find that quite interesting. All right, here we go. There she goes. I almost thought that she had stashed something, and she kept looking at the bottom of the bushes. See, like this. But then she kept pouncing at little things at the bottom as well. Look at the tail up in the air. That's to tell birds that would alarm at her. I see you. Thank you. Stop alarming. Stop giving me away. I see you. And she'll lower it again. Let's all be thankful that she's moving at a reasonable pace. Oh no, she's moving towards the dreaded drainage. right, let's get a good look at her. What a stunner. What are you looking for? Big boy, I see your vehicle. Keep coming. This is the worst moment for a vehicle to join the sighting because they're just going to see very little of her. She sees something in the drainage. At least this will offer us a bit of a vantage point. Perhaps she'll see something down there and we can be at the top, won't disturb her, and we'll still be able to watch. Well, we're going to stick with her for as long as we can.
Here we have got the Djuma Pride, which is doing some communal bathing, I suppose. They're all having a bath at the same time, following the example of the male. We also spotted another male just further up, but we can't go and see him because he's inside Waterhole Reserve to the north of us.
Yeah, and there's Bengala and Cambodia western side. Eastern side of Cambodia, if I'm not making a mistake. And there's Kalamba somewhere, northern side of Clara, close to...
You can hear the wind is absolutely howling now. Well, that is hyperbole. It's not absolutely howling. It's blowing quite strongly. And I'm told reliably by Bokomoso, the malingerer, that it is blowing at 28 kilometers per hour, which for this part of the world is pretty, well, it's pretty hard.
Yeah, you guys go in Gala, but I'll go in Gala first and then I'll go in Gala.
Bit of scratching. Just give me that name again, sorry, Gwyn. While I wait for the name, no, a lion is not actually necessarily part of the pride. Wildlife friend. Wildlife friend, no. Strictly speaking, the male lion is not part of the pride. So these two guys have dominion over the Djuma Pride and also the Talamati Pride to the north of here. And they are part of neither pride. The prides, both of them, fall into the territory of the males. You do find some cases where the male only has one pride that he looks after, or a group of males only have one pride that they look after, and then I suppose you might consider them males or part of the pride. And also, you're talking
We've come across a herd of impalas here, and they look super alert. I can hear them snorting. Just listen to what they're doing. That tells you there's a predator. You can see all of them heading toward that direction. See, the young ones are actually being placed in the center. So there must be a lion just in the grasses there. They're all super alert because if anyone makes a mistake, then they will be dead. So that is the reason why they have to watch these predators until they're out of their sight. I'm not quite sure where the lion is, but definitely in that grass. You can see those tiny ones grooming themselves. How cute is that? Because some of them have not seen or got the scent of the predator, they carry on with the activity, and that sometimes is what the lions take as an advantage. So I can see the lion up in the distance, walking in the grass. So some of these have not seen the lion, but I'm sure as soon as they see or spot the lion, they carry on snorting and alarming. Yes, it's going on. They've already seen the lioness, but the lioness has actually given up because she's been spotted way over in the grass there. She's walking away. Look at how their ears are pointed forward. All of them are alert. So the lion is walking towards them now. Super loves the sound. Look at how alert they are. But the lion has given up. She's not interested with the impalas. They have to watch keenly and make sure that the lion is out of their sight and then carry on with the activity, because if that carries on and she's hiding, they all be running away. So they've lost sight of her, but they're still alert. See, some of them are walking away because they have the young ones, and you can see the ram actually watching over, trying to get these ewes back to where he wants them in an open space. Look at the ram there. If you walk out of the herd, he will definitely come and herd them back, and that's how he's doing. So the lion possibly is following a scent trail, because I could see the lion sniffing up around. So lion, this is an activity now when lions have to hunt in the evening. So these impalas, good thing they will not be in the menu for the lion. But let's see what will happen as we take you over to another safari vehicle.
The lions are up and moving around, which is very exciting. There's another male, and it looks like the blonde-maned male. He was coming this way, and I think he's collapsed. Is he coming? Oh, there he is. Limping along. Oh, he's not limping too bad. He's looking pretty good, actually. I mean, he's definitely limping, but he's looking quite smart. With the wind tussling his hair. I wonder if he'll come and say hello to his brother. Yes, there we are. And back to sleep. She's actually turned into a rather magnificent looking male lion, albeit one with about 47 limps. 47 different injuries which cause him to limp. My only complaint about the sighting is that the lions are lying amongst way too many sticks. Jenna, I think that you'll find that the fact that lions and leopards have different colours on the backs of their ears and on their tails is not actually I think it serves the same purpose. So whether it's bright white or plain black, I think that they serve the same purpose to differentiate the shape as it moves through the bush. In the case of lions, though, remember that they follow each other on the hunt, and that black tail tip is probably, to their eyes, relatively easy to see because it's so contrasty. It'll be so black. Whereas the leopard, with its white tail tip, which is normally used as a sort of following mechanism for the babies when they're moving with the cubs or with the mum, it serves the same kind of purpose. It'll provide a different kind of contrast. So that would be my answer. Whether that's true or not, I'm not sure. The wind is howling. And we've got a number of them fiddling about on a tree. It's quite fun. Almost climbing the tree, naturally behind 78 sticks. I don't think I've seen these two together for goodness knows how long. They were always the ones that were together for the majority of time, and then the dark-maned male was on his own. Anyway, we're not going to go anywhere for now. We may have to move out later.
From the lions down in Djuma, now back to the Masai Mara, where we saw a little bit earlier a lioness walking in. I suspected she was following a scent, and yes, another lioness emerged from the long grass, and now there's a big male that has also emerged from the long grass. Now he's staring at the lionesses. So we're just curious to see what's going to happen next. The impalas have already left this sighting because they saw this male approaching and they've all gone away. See those two lionesses there? You can hardly tell if there's lions there. One of them is lying down. I'm sure it's a little bit warm around where the lionesses are. So this male is approaching with caution. I don't know why, but probably maybe he's not welcomed by those two lionesses. See how he's keeping off his distance. Big dark mane, looking super healthy. Seems like he fed like earlier today, because that stomach looks pretty full. He's not quite sure if there's another male lion there, and if probably there was another male, then there would have been a little bit of a scruffle there. So he's on the move again, and the lioness is actually rolling over, sign of excitement, Probably they know him and the sign of welcome. So let's see what will unfold as we take you over to another safari vehicle.
Well, good people, look what a surprise that I've, found. Pangolin, the ground pangolin. In my entire live guiding time, I've only seen 2, and the first one I saw was dead. This is the first ever. What a find for me. This is an animal that is nocturnal, strictly nocturnal. But in areas where it is not disturbed, it comes out during, late evening at dusk and dawn and feeds on termites. I'm gonna stay quiet and hopefully you have the patience so we can see it raise up and start moving. Unbelievable. Yes, looks like it was walking on 4s, but this is an animal that walks on 2s. It is said they like the sound of the vehicle. Let me see if it's true. They say that the vehicle never disturbs them for some reason. I've heard from other guides, and it is true. He is quite busy. I'm gonna try and go around a little bit because this is like a jackpot. This is like gold. I don't know how much longer he's gonna stay outside. There he is. He's coming up the little mound. Yeah, there we go. Look at this. This is one of the scariest, animals, and when threatened, he will curl up like a ball, and you cannot actually penetrate those skulls. It looks like it's sniffing for termites, so it's not worried about me. This is amazing, guys. Feeds on ants and termites. The front legs are equipped with talons that can dig the ground really, really fast, and it's got a very sticky tongue that it pulls out and takes it inside the hole it's dug. When the soldier termites come to fight, they get stuck. Yeah, again, my noise is making it want to curl up like a ball. This is one of the most trafficked animals at the moment, and to see one is just unbelievable. It's gone to the other side of the termite mound, so I'm gonna move around. It is such a find, you cannot believe this. I don't know if it's gonna relax again for us. I'm gonna let the vehicle run a little bit because it seems like the vehicle is not disturbing it as much. I've heard many guides telling me that if you see one, keep the vehicle running and it will be okay, and I can see that. And every time I switch off the vehicle, it will curl up. Let's see. I'm gonna just go quiet. guys. Unbelievable. Deborah, I didn't hear your question, but if you ask if they live in holes, yes. They can live in abandoned burrows made by aardvarks, and also they can make their own most of them are very nocturnal animals, and they use the sense of smell to locate insects. In the day, they spend most of the time curled up in a hole. Look at that. What a find. Smelling. It's trying to pick up the smell of insects. It walks bipedally with 2 legs, but you might think it's walking on 4s. We cannot see that because of the grass. Usually when it's got a young one, you'll see the young one either hanging on the back. Usually it's very, very interesting. I don't know if she's gonna come back this way, but I doubt it, so I'm gonna go round. She was investigating that termite mound, and maybe she's gonna move on to the next termite mound. Hopefully, she'll stay a little bit longer with us. Well, I'm going to look for her around the termite mound. And yeah, there she is. I'm going to stay with her because this is a one-of-a-kind find, one of the rarest things that you'll ever come to see here in the wild. Many people forget that they exist. You can tell that it's walking on its 2 hind legs. My voice, it doesn't like, you see, it's walking in 2 legs. Amazing. Now it's going to investigate another termite mound. Maybe its sense of smell has told it, there is a termite mound that is acting. Well, it's such a good find, but let me take you to another sighting as I move closer.
So it is very, very nice to see a pangolin. How wonderful. Well done, Isaac. So our lion that appeared here was fighting off those lioness, and they are not happy at all. He's walking in the bushes there. Those lionesses were actually pushing and putting blows on his face. Good thing he has big men. Now the fight is over. You can see him walking around. He's hiding in the long grass, but there was a big fight a little while there. He's picking up the scent. So by doing that, he's also analyzing the scent to tell if these females are in estrus. But I could see one of the lionesses there has a heavy stomach. Could be maybe she might be been full or maybe pregnant. But from the long distance that we are, I couldn't tell if she was pregnant or not. So male intruders will not be tolerated in the prides, but as soon as they come and fight, they are at least welcome after a short while. Not quite often, because if it was a big pride, maybe more than 4 lionesses, they would have actually fought him off. So I'll just wait here to see if he will come out, but definitely they are not happy with him, so they've crouched in the grass. So let's see what will unfold as we take you over to another safari vehicle.
Well, this is an animal that has got very poor eyesight, but their sense of smelling and hearing is equivalent to none. You notice every time I speak, it crouches down. That is to try and hide. And, if I go quiet, I hope we have time, you will see it get active. Let me start the vehicle slightly. Magic dragon, you ask, what are the scales made of? They are made of, small compressed hairs like our fingernails. That's what they are made of. You can tell it's getting up now that I've started the vehicle. It's very unusual that the vehicle doesn't bother it, but when I speak, it really bothers it. Yeah, it's going to come, so I'm going to go quiet. Are they related to porcupines and aardvarks? They are in their own family, and it's Pangolin family. Their kingdom is Animalia, and order is Philodata. So they are not related to any other. They are only in their own family. And, those scales are very protective, that, cover the whole body. If threatened, they will curl up like a ball that nobody can open. Like I said, they have very long tongues that, they probe inside either logs or termite mounds to get, termites that they feed on. And during mating, they mate once every 2 years, and they produce about 1 or 2 young ones. So these guys are in their own family called Philodota. I don't know for some reason or why, my noise interferes with it, but every time I start the vehicle, notice that. But I'm gonna try and give it, and don't disturb it. Give it a little bit of space. See that? It's up already. It's amazing. I'm just flabbergasted. I'm just in shock. I don't know why the vehicle doesn't bother it, but my noise. The reason we never see them is they are nocturnal, and you can see how small they are. A fully grown can weigh only about 3.5 kilos. That is a beautiful sight. Look at that. Wow. It's a very, very busy foraging, looking for that termite mound that is active. Termites are not active during the day because it's very hot. They usually get active at night because it is cooler. So it also comes out at night when it's cool so that it can get those soldier termites that are on top of the termite mound trying to come and build a nest. We'll share with you a little bit more before we leave it. It's there heading out. Look at that. Wow. For some reason, it is the most trafficked animal at the moment. The scales are believed to have medicinal uses in the Asian country, which is very, very wrong because this is a very threatened animal and we are losing it at a very fast rate. There she goes. Well, I'm staying here for a little bit longer because this is such a find. Let's take you to another sighting.
Pangolin, how exciting. Wouldn't it be great if one emerged from... Sorry, everybody. This is the story of... I was... I think we're going to have consistent audio issues. My apologies, everybody. Yeah. Anyways, there have been some hyena around here. I know you've been seeing a little cub with Mike. There isn't anything at the moment. We did have a really cool sighting, however, just a little while ago of a warthog, which was so cool. I haven't seen a warthog go into a burrow for quite some time now. It's not something that you actually get to see. Warthogs going in and out of their burrows because this is where they sleep, and because it's quite windy and the temperature has dropped a significant amount, the pig probably went to sleep about 20 minutes ago. It was quite cool to see this warthog. It wasn't Linda though. I thought that we could be lucky and see my favorite warthog, but it seems as though it was another female with both ears that disappeared down, not into that one, but just off to the right. So also really awesome to see a type of symbiotic relationship, between hyenas and warthogs, where they're sharing the same living system. Whether they'll be happy with one another, I'm not so sure. Hyenas are stinky creatures. But otherwise, we can just watch the grass blow in the wind, I suppose, because there's really not much else going on here, I'm afraid. I was trying to be patient and hope that one of the hyena cubs, or the hyena cub, would come out, but that is not the case. With the bad weather on its way, I also wouldn't come out of my burrow. If it was me, I'd be on the couch right now under a blanket, watching some kind of a TV show. Maybe this one. Who knows? But I think we'll move off and see if we can't relocate on the male leopard that was seen a little bit earlier this morning. And maybe he'll be up in the tree finishing his kill.
our lion says he's not been welcome and he's not tolerated by those lionesses. He's decided to walk back. And by sure of things, he's actually walking from where we saw him earlier. Look at how big he is, just close to our vehicle. He's gone back to where he was. Looks like he's fed a little while earlier. Could be there's some other males around, and that's why he's going maybe to join up together. This is not from the Mugoro Pride, so those lionesses are from the Mugoro. And when intruders are in this pride, they are fought off in a very fearsome way. We only had the growl in the grass and how they were landing big blows on him. Luckily, he has no scratch at all. So possibly maybe he might be joining other males. So I'll just drive around and follow him to see where he's headed. Off in the long grass. So let me change position and try to follow him. He seems to be on a mission, so let's find out what his mission is. You don't know what else is hiding in this long grass. There's a lone buffalo where he's headed, so let's see the reaction of the buffalo. I'm sure the buffalo will not be happy at all. So here we have an elephant bull, we have a buffalo. Peter, thank you for your question. It's during this time of the year, around October, we have few showers, but our main rainy season is during October, November, and December, which is our short rain period. And then our long rains are during end of February through May. And this area receives about 1,400 milliliters of water, that duration. So at this time of the year, it doesn't rain that often. So in July, it's super dry. So regular times that we have different showers here. You can only see the tail flicking in the long grass. The buffalo is not even aware of the lion coming here. So let's see what this buffalo will do. It's not actually aware because the buffalo is actually downwind. The lion has seen the buffalo. Although he looks full, but they can be opportunistic. He might even decide to go for him or not. Yes, the lion is walking, approaching the buffalo. They have a good sense of smell, but he's not picked the lion scent at all. Look at how the lion is walking in a very slow pace. Stalking game is on, closing the gap. A fully mature lion like him can take down this buffalo by himself. tell you what, he is about 3 meters close to this buffalo. And he has to creep in slowly so that he's not noticed at all. Because look at those sharp horns. If any mistake is done there, he is in danger. Creeping in. Remember, this buffalo has not seen or heard, totally unaware. We just look at the mane just behind this buffalo's back. This is a tense moment, guys. So there's no other buffalo within the sighting to help this buffalo. So the lion is taking that advantage. And because of the wind direction, he is in good favor. Unaware, he's still carrying on chewing his cud. He's super close, he's closing in. Look at the mane just above this buffalo's back. You see him approaching softly. He just heard something, but he's not picked the scent at all. He's not sure whether there's something just... Oh, there he goes. Yes, chase him off. Lucky buffalo, lucky lion. Wow, that was intense. So these buffaloes can be mean, and that lion has to be cautious. Remember, those horns are super sharp, and sometimes we see lions dying from being gouged by these buffaloes. A little bit of a standoff there. In comparison to size and weight, that buffalo is big, but that lion was determined to go after the buffalo. He has to walk away because that buffalo, if it's too close to him, then he's in danger. He's given up, he's ignored. Now he's going back to his mission because we can see other buffaloes in the sighting. Yes, they've come to help out their brother. Sometimes when they see these lions around them, they actually go and chase them off. Yes, he's approaching. There's a buffalo approaching the lion. You can hear that soft moan from the buffalo. It tells you that he's not happy with the lion. Yes, they came for the rescue. That's the rescue team. But the lion has to walk away because having 3 in number, then he's outnumbered. He is at risk of getting an injury. So they've all ganged up. See, the one that was being stalked is coming back again. Even though the lion is an apex predator, they fall victim sometimes to these buffaloes. Buffaloes are one of the most successful herbivores in this ecosystem because they team up. They're a very strong bond where it comes to saving one of their members. They will gang up against anything that is around them. So the lion is heavy, he is already eaten. So that's why he's holding off to keep these buffaloes at bay and then carries on walking again. Not a lucky day for this lion. He was chased by those lionesses and now he's being chased off by these buffaloes. These daggerbows can be super dangerous, especially when encountering a predator. Look, oh, it's on again. The lion has to run away. Let's see how far this lion will get as we take you over to another safari vehicle.
A very special welcome to the vets and vet nurses from the Hills Pet Nutrition and MSD Animal Health Outlying Grand Rounds who've been continuing with education online. The virtual conference is now jumping on live safari with us, and it's marvellous to have you with us. My name is James Henry. Bokom also is on camera. That's his thumb. And what you have there is an endangered species known as the ground hornbill. And it's most notable characteristic, well, it's got a number of them, but its most notable one is that chisel-like beak, which allows it to take advantage of a trophic niche that others wouldn't be allowed to because they don't have the equipment, namely tortoises. It's able to crush tortoise shells with that chisel-like beak and make use of their flesh. Otherwise, it's very happy eating any other kind of flesh. Also, quite remarkably, takes 9 years to reach breeding maturity, which is quite something. And so this is a very special sighting. Now, I'm hoping that our safari for you vets and vet nurses is going to be filled with entertainment. I'm sure it will be. We are coming to you from the western fringes of the great Kruger National Park in South Africa. We're also coming to you from the Masai Mara, from another reserve in the greater Kruger, and another reserve closer to the Drakensberg Mountains in South Africa, and then one from the Kalahari Desert. So lots of entertainment, hopefully, for you as you join us on our live safari. Our bird has absconded into the thickets, and so we'll carry on. We're currently looking for a leopard. We're hoping to be lucky. Whether or not we shall be, well, time will tell. So we'll go and look for our leopard, and you'll head off to enjoy some of the other wonders of Africa.
Welcome back. We've actually got a female cheetah with 2 cubs walking through the thicket up ahead. We're just trying to get another view right now. I'm Kim, and behind the camera we have Craig, and you are with us at Djuma Private Game Reserve. There they are. So they just walked through that thicket. You can see they're moving at quite a pace. I don't know if you saw that cub run right now. It's running to catch up with the mother. They're actually both running and playing right ahead. The mother's very, very skinny, so she's looking for something to eat. We're going to try and keep with them. She's up ahead, just up ahead of us. We're trying to keep a bit of a distance. That way, if she does spot something, we can turn off our vehicle and we won't interfere with her hunt. So while we're trying, oh, here she is, there she is. We're just going to try and get ahead of her and get a better view. And I'm sure you'll come back with us shortly.
So we actually managed to track down the Birmingham Pride, and we are now zoomed in on the young male. The Birmingham young male, everyone's favorite lion, of course. And he's looking good. He's looking very healthy, of course, still with the Pride. I haven't seen him walk again today, but apparently he's just got a slight limp now. The lost female has also joined up with the pride, so she's the one there, that one. So it's a good thing. At this stage, there are 13 lions here. One of them just stood up now. 13 lions here, so the entire Birmingham pride, except for the 2 Ross males and then the young female with her 2 cubs. They're also not in this area. But I think a little bit later on, I think that herd of buffalo might have a tough time. So we caught up with the herd, and they are, I'd say as a crow flies, not even 500 meters away from this pride. So maybe it's going to be a dark night, it's going to be a very windy night. It is superb conditions for these lions to go hunting. And looking at them, they look a little bit skinny. It's like they might need a meal. Of course, a buffalo would go down well for a pride of 13. Something like an impala just wouldn't go far at all. See the white male opening up his legs, trying to cool down a little bit. Also got his paw on one of his sisters. Very, very social animals. I'm blown away by how big their manes have gotten. You know, for such a small, for their age now. So just to the right of the white male is the white female, and then to the right of her, other side of the mapani tree, with her back paw on the tree, is her sister. So those 2 would be the youngest ones here at this stage. But everyone's looking very good, very healthy, content, and very sleepy. I actually wonder if the buffaloes chased them, or they heard the buffalo and they chased the buffalo, and their trucks were on top of the buffalo herd. Anushka has asked, where are the lion cubs? So Anushka, they are with their mother at a place called Opi Dam, just west of that. We saw them this morning, but we were struggling with signal, so we could sadly not show them to you, but they are looking very healthy, very big, very strong, and the mom is looking even better. So they are perfectly fine. Thanks for asking, Anushka. Quite a nice spot for the lions to lie down on such a windy day. Very open, very clear. Now, if it was still sunny, if it was anything like this morning, they would have chosen quite a nice shady spot, not like this out in the open. But now with the wind, it's cooling all of them down, so I think they'll probably remain here for quite some time still. I think so shall we.
From the lion being chased by the buffalo, from the lion being fighting off with the lionesses, we've come to a beautiful ending of the day when the sun is softly and slowly sinking in over the Ulolo escarpment. Look at how beautiful that is. You can hear over the distance Hadada ibises. You can hear frogs croaking. I can hear doves, and some of these birds are returning back to their respective nests. And the nocturnals are up and about. We just seen a pangolin, which was very nice. Just wanted to listen to that sound as the sun is sinking in the horizon. Lovely sound out there. We can hear actually the cocky francolin calling, which is very, very beautiful. You can see the red and the orange hues as the sun is sinking. I think sunset colors are typically more brilliant than sunrise. I've watched sunrise here in the Mara, I've watched sunset, but these sunsets come out brilliant and colorful more than sunrise. As this sun is sinking slowly into the horizon, we have animals that are up and about to find their daily food. We have hyenas, we have lions, so we expect to see the nocturnals. And as we take you over to another safari vehicle, let us just watch the sun sinking down.
We have come to the dam in front of the main camp where there is a hippopotamus, and he's just gone under the water. And he was actually, the reason we came here or stopped was that the hippo's attention was arrested by a grey heron which is sitting on a log, and I can tell you, naturally, as I say that, the hippo's opened his mouth. Anyway, that log, I don't remember being here this morning when I came through, and I know that there has been a hippo in this waterhole who's played a lot with sticks and logs, and I wonder if he didn't put it there. Although maybe I just missed seeing it earlier today. Beautiful picture there of the grey heron. And when we got here, the hippo was nose up to that log, and they were having a conversation, I think, about the latest rugby results. Poor little grey heron's looking a bit miserable. I really think that in a wind like this, to stand over the water is ridiculous. BK, back to the hippo. He's doing his backflips again. He's did a whole little roll there, and now he'll probably do nothing. Come on, do it once more. It's quite amusing to watch because you see their funny feet, which are a kind of odd shape. But no, he's just going to show us his ear. Let's give him a minute or two. He might give us another display. Oh, we go. Up he stands. Yes. Now open your mouth, fling yourself about, and do the hokey cokey. Here we go. I'm going to wait here and see if the hippo does the hokey cokey.
Well, there has been all sorts of drama. The pangolin went into thick bush, and there's nothing I could do apart from leave it at peace. It gave me a very special moment that I'll cherish all my life, and so I left it. But here, this elephant was giving these lions and lionesses some trouble, but he's got company with the rest of the herd now, and I think he's comfortable. I don't know if he's gonna come this way and try and give them a little bit more trouble. Looks like he's a little troublemaker, or he wants to go and join the rest of the herd. Remember to talk to us. #WildEarth. Question and comments are very, very welcome. It's a very beautiful scene that I have here. I am on IR, infrared, and it's able to give me a better sight of the animals because it's getting dark and we're losing light. It's almost 6:30 in the evening, and it's quite dark because it was overcast and very cloudy. These two lions here are part of the River Pride, and You can tell that that's a young male, about 4.5 years, and these are the guys that have been mastering the art of bringing down buffalo. And 4 of them we have seen in the last 2 months. We have witnessed them eating 2 buffaloes. We never actually seen them bring it down, but it is evidence they're becoming very good at bringing down buffalo. When they mature in the next maybe few months, they will be a power to reckon, because there are 3 of them, and being 3 and growing up together, they can be very intimidating, and that is a lioness. Sorry, it's a lion also, you can tell, and I don't know what they have in mind. The reason I say that is around the whole of this area, we have only very old lions, the age of about 7, 8, 9, and 10, and these guys coming up, they are going to really give those guys some trouble. So the near future is going to be very exciting. I'm talking about the next maybe 1 year. It's going to be very exciting. That guy has got a little bit of a limp. Yes, what he's doing right now is he's peeing just in between his hind legs, and then just rubbing his paws against that urine that he has passed onto the ground. It is very essential for him to do that, because when he walks, everywhere he goes, I don't know how you'd refer it, but he leaves a text or an email, I was here, I'm heading this way, I'm such and such. They talk a lot. That urine tells a lot. It talks to them, it tells them, who they are, where they're heading, very, a lot of information. Look at this. How many are they now? There are 3 over there in the frame. That is super cool. The one in front, it's a female. The 2 are males, and combined with the last one we just saw, they are going to be a very intimidating trio. This is bonding at its best with lions. Remember, when there's no girl or when there's no food, lions can be very friendly. But when there is a female, oh, look at this. Beautiful. So those are the 3 boys that I'm really looking forward to seeing what their life brings in the next maybe 1 year. So I must say, they can be very friendly when there's no food, but when there is food, it's everybody for himself. Try to get as much as possible, and friendship comes later when the food is over. Surprisingly, once the meal is done, immediately they'll rub heads. It's like to say, sorry, it was just a meal. I still really care about you, and you still my family, so don't you worry. In the next meal, I'll try not to bite you or scratch you. That's actually what I think they normally say. Well, I'm gonna move forward because I don't know what they have in mind. You never know. And while I do that, let me take you to another safari vehicle.
So we still have managed to keep up with these cheetah. You can see there, the cub is just approaching the mum. She's now taken a moment to scan the surroundings and she's off again. It's actually amazing and how quickly she's been walking this entire time. She's covered a huge amount of distance. And I think what she's doing is she's taking advantage of such a windy day where animal senses might not be as good as they normally are. They can't smell or hear very well. And I think she's definitely on the hunt trying to find something for her and her cubs to eat. You can see, if you look by their back hips, that they are very, very skinny. Their bones are sticking out. So they are quite hungry at the moment. How sweet is that, those 2 cubs? I found the one at the back to be quite dark in color. It's actually such a beautiful cheetah cub. They've got the scent of something in that bush. You see that one still walking around smelling. Might be a scent mark of another cheetah or perhaps even a lion or a leopard they're picking up there. The mother doesn't have time for that. She's still walking down.
the hill and just scanning around. Now they've got incredible eyesight. They can see for about 5 kilometers. So what she's doing is she's going up onto high areas and she's scanning very quickly left to right and just seeing if she can spot anything. What she's looking for mainly are impala. There wouldn't be many in Yala in this area. It's quite open. But also maybe some common duiker, grey duiker, anything small that uses its speed as a sort of as a defense mechanism. Something like a warthog she wouldn't be looking for because that has a very big tusks and can actually cause quite a bit of damage if it was to turn and defend herself. There's actually a herd of wildebeest on the hill that she spotted, but it has completely ignored because this female is quite a bit older and is an experienced hunter and knows not to hunt something like that. Jane, the claws of cheetah don't actually retract. It's the only cat that doesn't retract its claws. And the reason behind it is because you can see from their build they are very tall and slender. You know, they've completely built for speed, including those claws. So her claws are permanently out, and what that acts as is
Look who's come to visit us. Hello, old fella. This is Tingana, everybody. He is a bit of a safari live or wild earth legend. But I've got him here. And he hasn't been in this area for a long time now. He was basically excluded from his territory by a leopard called Malwati. And Tingana is approaching his 14th birthday now. And so he's an old man. And it's so lovely to see him again. Hello, old boy. How's life, Shame he's looking a little bit skinny. He's looking all right. For a 14-year-old leopard, he's in pretty good nick. Cool, hey? I'm just going to wait for him to move a little bit away, then we'll start up and move. So this is quite interesting that he's come down here. He hasn't been down here for a long time. I don't know if that means that Malwati has been patrolling somewhere else or what's going on, or if maybe he's heard Tlalamba calling and he's decided to come and investigate, or perhaps another male has caused him to have to come this way, up north. I'm not sure. Let's get another view here. He's looking very cautiously along. Maybe he's hunting. There we go. Let's just have another good look at him. So nice. Yeah, no, that's a good-looking 14-year-old male leopard, that.
Right, let's try this again. It's very exciting that you've got so many leopards in all the other locations, but for us to see a leopard here at Pridelands, it is quite a special sight, as they are few and far, but well, they're here, but we never really get to put them on camera. But there is a young male leopard in the tree with a impala carcass, and I'm pretty sure it's the same leopard that you saw this morning with Mike towards the end of the show. I'm not sure though. We're sitting at a great distance as Mike was, so it's quite difficult to tell, but I do have a friend in the sighting that's at a much closer position, and he says that it is a young male. He has a 2-2 spot pattern, so that means he's got 2 spots on the most upper part of his whisker pattern, where his whiskers are. There's a line of spots, and then on the right-hand side, he's also got 2 spots. And it doesn't seem to be particularly old, maybe about a year and a half or so. But it is quite difficult to tell. It's quite a nice view, though, in between all the grey branches. And then, of course, you just see the beautiful rosettes and the golden colour of this leopard's coat. And then a little bit macabre with the red of the impala carcass. But a big ram, though, so I'm not sure if he caught it or who caught it, but either way, it's very cool to see. And some... Probably, I'm trying to think how many leopards I've seen now since I've been at Pride. And obviously we see the pixie pan female. She's got 2 cubs, and we've seen Shumungwe, which is the dominant male leopard. And actually we're in the heart territory now. And then there's a couple of others that we just catch some glimpses of here and there. So hopefully the guys that are closer in the sighting will grab some pictures so that we can add him to the list or see if he has actually been seen before. But quite nice. There isn't anything left on that carcass. You can see that this leopard has eaten around the face, it's eaten on the neck, all the delicious parts on the flank, and there was just a bit of meat on the hindquarters going down to the back legs. So he might have to reposition the carcass just a little bit to be able to get a few mouthfuls. You see, what has he got in his mouth? He's chewing on something, or maybe he's got a bit of small shard of bone that's wedged itself where it shouldn't. You can see there how he's opening his mouth and closing his mouth. He doesn't look so impressed. I think he's trying to dislodge it with his tongue. Are you winning? From what we can see from this distance, now we're fully zoomed in right now, he looks very pretty. Victoria, I don't know. Do you have a map of Pridelands that you know exactly where we're looking? We're not far from the big open plains where we've often see a very large group of impala rams that like to run around and things like that. I've done a few sunrises here as well. So we're not far. We're in quite a big drainage system, and then there's a rocky ridge just behind that leopard, basalt sort of ridge. So I don't know if you'll know exactly where we are, but I suppose that doesn't really matter. Hey, the good part is that he is way up in a tree, and that he won't have to worry about the hyenas stealing his kill.
So nice. So the entire Birmingham Pride now woke up, and you can actually see there, I think Odie's focusing on, okay, but just behind that, the young male is playing quite nicely with the young white male, and completely mobile. So there's a slight bit of a limp, on his back leg. But other than that, you'll see now when he wakes up, or when he stands up, he starts walking again, slight bit of a limp, but nothing bad, nothing what it used to be. Maybe the white lioness jumps on him. Very, very playful with the rest of the cubs, which is so nice. So what the white male has done now, he's lying down behind a mopani tree, almost using it as camouflage to try to hide away from the young male, who's very, very, very playful. It's nice to see the different generations still playing with each other. I think at heart he's just a big kid. And he plays quite softly with them. No, reverse just a little bit so we don't have this mopani tree in our way. Odie, let me know. Better? There we go. Here he comes. He is massive. This white male might jump on him. Nice to see the two brothers together. But see how extremely well he's walking. She's saying that the white male is massive as well. Here comes the sister of the white lioness, and now it's just the white lioness still left. It looks like they're all playing on our other side. So let's turn around that way again. And the two lead lionesses are just walking in the front, leading the pride. I think it'd be interesting to know if they go for... Oh, here comes the little white lioness. If they do go towards the buffalo or not. But the direction they're heading is actually a little bit further east from there. So maybe not tonight, or maybe a little bit later when it's darker.
This old bullet is on a patrol of some description. Very silent, hasn't marked at all, so it's not like he's lifted his tail on a bush yet. Let me actually just wait for him. Hasn't called. I suspect he hasn't called for some time. He is largely retired, although he was mating the other day. Unfortunately, the leopardess he was mating with has not been particularly fetal, and she was mating with someone else the other day. That's why I'm suspicious that he hasn't been down here. There we go.
Specialist president of Djuma.
Oh my word, guys, look what we have just found. This is one of the largest lizards that we have here in Tswalu. I don't know if they're mating or if they're fighting. We still haven't figured it. We just got here. But this is a rock monitor lizard. And it either looks like it's a little bit of competition between two males, or this could potentially be a mating couple right now. This is first time in my career, so I have no idea what's going on here, folks. So we're all learning and watching for this for the very first time together. Wow. You can see the very large head and the stripy tail that this... Oh my word. Okay, so it definitely looks like they're fighting. This might be competition between two males. Oh my word. How incredible is this? They're having a wrestling match with one another. My knowledge on the mating behavior of rock monitor lizards isn't the best, so this definitely looks like it's a bit of a tussle between two males. See how they're intertwining with one another using their necks, the body, and as well as those very, very powerful tails. Incredible. Or it might be a female that doesn't want, or she's not ready to mate with, and this male's just making his way regardless. Wow, look at this. So will they fight to the death? So I'm really not too sure if this is two males. but you got instances if it was two males. Some animals do fight to the death, but if one individual is stronger and more powerful than the other, you're definitely going to have the subordinate one choosing to fight another day. Some animals are vicious like lions. They don't want to relinquish that throne. They will fight to the death, but animals will rather choose to fight another day if it's not worth it. But I really think that this might be a male and a female, to be totally honest. My stomach is just leaning towards that notion of this is a male trying to mate with a female. Because coming on to the onset of summer now, this is when, I'm almost sure that this is when these guys will lay the eggs. Abandoned termite mounds or underground in warrens from meerkats and ground squirrels. But this is incredible. This is also the largest lizard that we have in southern Africa, and a remarkable lizard at that. So these animals aren't territorial, but if it had to be fighting for a mate, this is definitely one activity, fighting like this, that what they will do is just this over here. So these males could have picked up the scent deposited by a female, and they both could have been drawn into the area to find this lady, and they could have found each other, or this is a male and a female. But this is incredible. You can definitely see from the action that they're having a good tussle at one another.
Okay, so the lions did end up hunting a buffalo. Actually, one lioness was on top of a buffalo, but now we are with the lead lioness, the white dot female. You see the white dot on her left rump. And if she's here, it means the buffalo got away, because otherwise she would be right there in the action trying to pull it down. She's quite good, but it looked like it was only a couple of buffalo bulls, so not actually the herd that we were watching earlier. That herd was further west. You can now see some of the lions are coming from in front of us, and they would regroup. And I think this is what majority of their night will hold for them. Because it's so windy, the wind is really loud, they'd actually be able to sneak up quite close to the buffalo herd before they go. That was a bit of fun. Crazy driving as well. Whew. I'm sort of out of breath. I think I nearly lost Odie as well. Yeah, so all of them are coming back. Some of them chased further than others. You'd especially find it with the youngsters. They usually chase the buffalo further than the adults do. The adults just know, when it's lost, when they can leave it. But the youngsters, they try their luck. They try go even further. Every now and then you'll possibly hear a bit of contact calling as some of the youngsters return back from chasing the buffalo. And that's probably what happened earlier this afternoon, is that, one of these youngsters just chased a little bit too far and lost the entirety of the pride. So you can see now they're going to join up again, and a bit of playful manner going into all of that. So I think we'll stick with them for a little while still. It is getting quite dark. But let's stick around and see what else happens.
Amazing to see lion trying to go for buffalo. Sounds like an incredible sighting. When last you were with us, we had that mother cheetah with the 2 cubs that was looking to hunt. She walked off into an area that was burnt, so we couldn't actually follow her off-road. We decided to leave her to her hunting, and hopefully she's successful before it gets dark. And along the way, we came across this beautiful Wahlberg's eagle. Now, why I say it's a Wahlberg's is the size. It's the smallest eagle we actually have here. It's about 58 centimeters. And if you have a look, it's got a short little hook on its bill, not a massive bill or sear that goes back to the eye. And quite distinctively, it's got that beautiful sort of tuft of hair, that little crest that you can see blowing in the wind at the back. It's quite a distinctive feature of the Wahlbergs. Now, what you can confuse it with is maybe a lesser spotted or booted eagle. It is quite a bit smaller. And then also, if you have a look at the feathers going down to the feet, you can see that it's got sort of short leggings. I think it's about to fly. Look at this. Oh, giving us a wonderful view underneath. You can see those down feathers. It's actually a little bit lighter there. So what it's doing right now is it does sometimes hunt from perch. Oh, beautiful. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. It's always amazing to see birds of prey when you're driving along, especially something as majestic as the Wahlberg's eagle. I think what it might have done is it might have gone to a different perch, because right now it was sitting up here, probably looking for some reptiles or some rodents. And they also hunt small mammals and also even birds. And I think it's flown off to another perch to maybe scan from there. We're going to carry on and see what else we can find.
Well, guys, this is still going on. There's quite a tussle going on, and we're still trying to understand what's going on here. I really, deep down in my stomach, think that this is a male and a female. And this could be possibly where she does not want to mate right now, and he is persisting that he's going to try and get things right here. But this is incredible. I've never, ever seen this happen before. So this is brand new for me, so I'm still trying to understand and gather all the information of actually what's going on here. But the smaller one that's on top right now is quite aggressive. It's actually got the one that's pinned, its left hand forearm in its mouth, and it's twisting. This is just another level of rarity. So the one that's pinned looks fairly tired. And the smaller one on top is very, very persistent. It almost looks like it wants to wrap around, and they almost need to, if they are a mating pair, if this is a mating pair, the male does need to wrap himself around to get into the correct position where mating can take place. Wow. So not something that you just see every day, folks. As I mentioned, this is the first in my career. And then to be observing it without disturbing them is just cherry on top of the cake, because the behavior that we are watching now is the most natural behavior. Nothing has altered these animals while we are viewing them. See the one on top moving very funny, it looks like. So if this was a fighting pair, it's not uncommon for animals to be killed from fights, especially when the aggression is heightened because of mating or the smell of a female. But reptiles have that remarkable adaptation as scales covering the whole body, which does offer somewhat protection. This animal does have a mouth filled with backward-facing teeth, which are used to grab and grasp prey. So those backward-facing teeth are definitely would be used in a situation like this, or if it was another male. But I think this is a male and a female. Because if it was a male and a male, there would be a lot more biting going along within the action here, and there's just... it's almost like a wrestling match. You can see the smaller one on top hasn't bitten anywhere near the throat. That one on top has got the arm, so that's maybe how he's getting things right here.
There was a question.
Sorry, FC, could you go again with a question, please? We're just in between the dunes, so the signal... There we go. Oh, Sam, how soon after mating will she lay eggs? Oh, Sam, that's something I'm going to have to get back to you on. My knowledge with these reptiles are not the most in-depth, but I would say a couple of weeks. And then if I can remember correctly, after this has happened, she'll then excavate a hole in the ground. I've also seen and read them using termite mounds, and then she would lay up to about 40 soft-shelled eggs inside this excavation. And then if you take a look at these warmer periods are favorable, but the incubation time is quite long for these eggs. It's around about 10 months, which is fairly long for a reptile. Reptiles do have fairly long incubation periods. Wow. So when she deposits those eggs, there won't be a lot of parental care.
So we've caught up with them again, and this young male has just decided, okay, I'm just going to lie on top of a termite mound and watch the ward from here. She has a spectacular view. So far, there are, well, from what I can see, there are 8 lions around us. Some of them are still regathering or coming back, so every now and then we can hear a soft contact call. So I think now he's watching one of the older lionesses walk away, and he might just follow. But it's always so nice to, after they do split up, especially the youngsters, when they come back together, how playful they are. They just stalk each other and jump on each other and just play around so much. So everyone's watching that one lioness and what she's going to do. No, the white lion is still not moved. He's quite content on top of his termite mound. But now would be a good time for them to... Ah, there we go. Book Lover asking if the white lion has a white mane. So Book Lover, we changed a bit to thermal now, but you can see a slight bit of a mane developing there. Definitely not as dark as the other lions. For now, it looks quite whitish, but as it gets older, it's going to get a slight bit darker. It will never go black or really tawny, maybe a slight bit gingery. But no, it's not going to remain white forever. It will go a little bit darker, just like the tip of his tail, really. So I don't know if you've noticed on the other lions that they have black tips on their tail, so their manes would generally also go darker and sometimes black, like the rustbell. But no, it's not going to remain white. Just a slight darker tinge in colour. Love how he'll walk down the termite mound and there's always someone he'll go greet. I think in front of him now is another lioness. Maybe asking to be groomed, or just greeting someone, or just lying down with that touch. Now, they are social cats. It was funny, once they chased the buffalo, all of them regrouped, and there were just a bunch of giraffe, watching them very confused. Renee, good question. Renee wants to know if a white lion has a high rank in a pride. Renee, I believe it's more got to do with size. You know, there's this general theory that black maned lions are more aggressive than lighter maned lions, and it's more attractive to females. But I've been fortunate enough to watch this white male grow up, and the way his brothers treat him, I would say that he's the more dominant of the three younger males. So I think in terms of aggression, he's just got more aggression, more testosterone than the other two. So yeah, you know, I wouldn't say because he's white he's high in ranked. I just think it's got to do with testosterone and aggression rather than colour. But I think he might become the dominant male if they move out as a coalition. I'm really hoping when they do move out, they take the Birmingham young male with them. That'd be quite nice. Okay, so I think we're going to leave them here. You know, it's getting quite dark now. Should they want to go hunting, we don't want to crash the vehicle behind them and ruin it for them, or even light up the buffalo. So we'll be leaving the Birmingham Pride here, and we wish them best of luck for tonight.
So when last we were with you, we were with that beautiful Wahlberg's eagle, and we said we would see what else we could find. And we stumbled across a whole herd of buffalo just around the corner. What's quite interesting is the ones that you're seeing, see that one just stopped and fed, they actually split off a little bit from the herd, the main herd that's off to our left. And you might see this one start to run a little bit. Some of them have panicked now that it's starting to get dark, and they see the main herd is quite far off to their south and suddenly are running to catch up. This one seems a bit more relaxed than the rest of them though. It's not going with the herd mentality of running off suddenly. Amazing when you watch buffalo walk, you can see how they're actually walking in one straight line, which they often do when they're covering distance. They'll walk in one line. They'll actually have ones at the front called pathfinders, and they follow behind a single file or maybe one or two lines. And then just like this herd now, you can see the rest of the herd are there. As they feed, they split off and they sort of go into like quite a wide circular pattern, spread out a bit to feed. What was quite interesting is just before they started heading off to the rest of the herd, you could hear a lot of them calling. You know, that low sort of call that sounds very much like a cow's call. And I wonder if they were calling the rest back. So the buffalo herd dynamics are quite interesting. You know, they're very similar to elephants in the way that they're made up of family units. So related females will stay together, and those small family units will join in a bigger herd like this, and perhaps that explains why they were separated. The small family unit went off by themselves and then have decided to join the larger herd. As it gets dark, I think we're going to go and see if we can find some nocturnal animals.
Here he is, moving through the rapidly fading evening. We've had a torrid time following him, but it's been great to be with him again. It's so wrong to think of these animals as pets, but we form very similar attachments to them despite their wildness, and that is because we spend so much time with them over the years. All right, let's carry on. I'm not going to light him up, obviously. When it gets too dark to see, that'll be it, I'm afraid. Which will be fairly soon. Just quickly see if we can get another view through here. There he is. He's led us a merry, I've forgotten what the word is, expression. Merry what? Path? He's led us a merry path. I know it's very dark. We'll go into infrared and see if that doesn't help us slightly. We don't have an infrared light, but we can go into infrared. Let's have one last look. You got him.
Okay, they are still going at it, folks. So it's always very tricky trying to interpret what's going on, because for myself, I really dislike being wrong or making mistakes. So as this is unfolding in front of us, we are literally learning and understanding what's going on here together, which is very special. First time in my career I've ever seen this. But if you think about it, the incubation being 10 months, they would be mating now in summer. That's when reptiles are most active, when they've got the heat requirements that they need to move about. And then 10 months, then it pushes you back into the favorable parts again so she would obviously, if they're mating pair, mate a couple of weeks, maybe 2-3 months, she lays the eggs, and that pushes us all the way back to the favorable periods when those young hatch again. There's no vocalizations that we can hear from here, but I know firsthand that the vocalization that can be made by these animals is like a hissing, almost like a bellow hiss, almost like if you had to be blowing it through your teeth, which can be fairly scary if you stumble upon one. Okay, so you see just a position arc there. So it might be 2 males. So trying to pin your opponent. Wow, that's incredible. So this is one of 2 of these large lizards that we have in South Africa. There's another one called a water monitor lizard, which is bigger than these, which is the largest lizard in South Africa. And this one being on the terrestrial basis. We find them on the ground, but also I've personally found them in trees. But this is just amazing. So I'm also trying to look for a little bump in between the legs, because being a lizard, they've got a hemipenis. That's quite thick there. There's a bit of damage on the right hand. So the one that is with its head to the right hand side of the screen, if you look there's actually a little bit of saliva. It looks like a bit of a tear in the skin. So the head that's on the right hand side of the screen, the dark patch that's on his arm or his forearm, looks like a bit of break in the skin where his opponent had him there clinched down. Neither would they bite each other? Yes, they definitely will. Those teeth that they've got lining the jaw basically are backward-facing teeth, and those are used to grab and then secure prey once it's anchored. So the teeth would definitely be used in a fight like this to inflict a bit of damage on an opponent, to drive it off. So it's a very tricky thing. So I think it's one or the two. I could be wrong, I could be right. But every time I look at it, I'm like, okay, it could maybe be a mating pair. And then I look again, maybe it's a competition, male and male. But really, really amazing. Just first time for me. So now the position of the animals have changed totally. So, for a lizard, he's going to have to wrap his body almost over the female, and then his organs, his reproductive organs, his genitalia has to then wrap around the side to successfully mate with her. So, it could just be a tussle, and it could be a male and female trying to, the male trying to come right here, or it could be two males fighting one another. They could have come in over here, been drawn into the scent that has been left behind by a female, reproductive female. And they've crossed paths, and this is where this fight has now taken place. What a marvelous reptile to be watching. See that long tail also uses a weapon along with those teeth, and then they've got very sharp long claws. Joy from Hong Kong. Greetings, hello, Domela. Yes, they do have a retractable penis, and in reptiles like this, it's called a hemipenis. Oh, wow. Hot pursuit. Wow.
Sorry about that, guys. Swallow will be back, I'm sure. I have my spotlight out and no Tlalamba, as you can imagine. I am so sure that she has killed something in the drainage just near camp, because that was the last area we saw her. She was moving very quickly, and I realized what she was doing when she kept looking at the bottom of the bushes. She had flushed out about 2 scrub hares that we saw in one duiker. So I think she was looking for scrub hare, which is interesting because it shows that there's a difference in her hunting technique depending on what she feels like having today. I thought that was very interesting. Of course, this is only one instance, and it's hard to make a generalized statement about leopards from that instance, but I think that was a really nice thing to observe. Well, now that spotlight is out, we will be looking for a last-minute chameleon. Hopefully we'll find it.
All right, so one individual has booked it far away, and this individual has made a U-turn, has come back to the spot. But I want you folks to watch its tongue. Long, thin, tube-like tongue, and just like that cobra we looked at, it's also forked. Whereas when it gets pulled back into the mouth, it's basically touching an organ called the Jacobson organ, where this animal can pick up these clues left behind to understand the scent particles on the ground. Using his tongue, he's basically coming back exactly the same way from where they first started fighting. So yeah, just a question about the reproductive organs. Being lizards, they've got a hemipenis, which is when inside the animal's body, retracted into the animal's body, it's like a sock. When it's used, obviously blood fills the organ, and that pushes the organ out of the animal's opening. And being a hemipenis, there's two parts of it. And with lizards, you can actually identify certain lizards by looking at the hemipenis. So some lizards and geckos can be very similar in appearance, but their reproductive organs are very unique. It's almost like a key and lock. Wow! Look at that tongue. That little slit behind the eye, that's the ear opening. And this is where the whole scene started, where we first found these two animals. And look how frantic that tongue is coming in and out of the mouth. Look at the claws, which are not retractable. They are static on the animal's fingers, at the end of the appendage, at the end of the fingers. Very large, used for digging, used for fighting, used for defense. Unbelievable. And look how thick and muscular that tail is. Also uses a weapon. That tail can be swished or like swiped across the animal's body to come back. Oops. What is it looking for? But really remarkable scene that played out in front of us there. Tom, he's definitely got a winner strut to him. Very unique walking format, and it's very easy when you find the tracks of these rock monitor lizards that it's fairly easy to identify by the way that they walk with that swaying body. That's put down so beautifully on the red earth here at Tswalu. It's really nice to see the tracks, but what we just saw there was something so remarkable. I've never seen that. So first of my career, and how amazing if we could share that with you. Is he going down the hole? Oh, okay. So that might be a clue. They're putting all these pieces together. I'm going to have to go do some homework, do some searching. I'm going to have to put on my little detective hat and my little detective glasses. I'm going to have to suss out what was all that, and I'm going to have to get back to you guys. And that's 50-50, you know, if it was two males fighting each other, or if it was a male trying to mate the female, or if it was a female defending the nest site, because that animal's now gone down a hole. It could also just have gone down underground because it's starting to get fairly cool right now. And being a reptile, being stuck out when it's cold, you're going to be losing all your body heat to the environment. So being underground, you've got a stable, constant temperature, even a half a meter under the ground. So that's more than likely an old ground squirrel burrow or a meerkat burrow where it's been modified, where that animal is now seeking refuge. All right, we're going to send you to another amazing location, and that was wonderful.
Tingana we lost, I'm afraid. That was the last view we had of him, which was the last view you had of him. And he went west into the drainage line. I decided that turning a spotlight on to follow the old boy was not necessary. I didn't want to disturb him any further, and hopefully we'll be able to see him again tomorrow. That will be very exciting. It's certainly nice to have him back in this area, but I didn't see him mark one tree. He definitely didn't call. He was very cautious. He may have just been hunting. But what is interesting is that BK thought that he smelt rotting flesh on the wind. Now, we know that Tingana is a supreme scavenger, and maybe that he came down here because he can smell something worth eating. I don't know who would have killed it, unless it was his competitor, Morwati, because Kalamba was up around here, nowhere near Tingana. Well, not that far from him, but not very close to him. And Shidulu I haven't seen for ages. And we know that Tandi's on Torchwood. She was seen this afternoon. So I don't know who would have killed something that he could steal. Definitely wasn't the lions. Anyway, we'll have a look for him tomorrow. See if he turns up. If he goes further south or goes back up to Biffleshoek. It'd be so lovely to spend a bit more time with him though. He is one of our very favourite characters. He has given us hours and hours and hours of great pleasure, as have his offspring. Oh, Henry, the leopards with names are relatively easy to distinguish from each other if you're not me. I am particularly poor at recognizing human beings and animals. But, you know, once you've seen them a few times, really, most people can tell them apart very quickly. Just like you can with pets or people you know well. And the leopards are territorial, and so if you find a leopard in a particular territory, you can certainly narrow down the animals that it could be, unless it's obviously a stranger. But when you first start off, you have a look at the spot pattern around either the throat region here or just above the whisker line. And in Tingana's case, he's a 5'5" male leopard. He's got 5 spots left and right above the whisker line. I'd have to show you in order to really make you understand. But his face is so distinctive now. You know, it's got scars, and we just know him because we've seen him so much. And I must just say again that I am particularly poor at recognizing these animals, and even I can recognize Tingana pretty quickly. So that's how. We'll do one more lap of this area and see if we can find where Kalamba went.
So just looking, I've just come a little bit closer here, and this scene where these animals were going at each other is quite a scene. There is a lot of disturbance on the ground. You can see where the tails were used to try and defend each other, the claws being pushed into the ground. And if you go on the right hand side there for us, Glenn, the animal was basically dragging its opponent. Just a little bit. There we go. To the left there. There we go. Look at that. That's from the belly. That nice, smooth section is more than likely where one was on top of the other. And from the weight, the belly was being pushed against the ground. But it's right around this bush. And it's all over here in front of us and on the left-hand side. So they have been going at each other for quite a while. But what a remarkable sighting that was. I cannot wait to delve into the books and find out what really was going on there, because for me, those there are like special moments that just drive me even harder to know more, to understand more, to be able to appreciate. The jackal's starting to call now, to appreciate all this around us. So the more you understand, the better you appreciate it, and the better you want to protect it, because it is all so important. From a fly to microbes to phytoplankton, everything to these monitor lizards. Remarkable. But yeah, it's been a fantastic day. I'm sure that from the rest of the team, it's been wonderful to be able to share this with everybody. And we are getting very chilly, so I think we're also going to be pulling out here and leaving the site. Yeah, but what a remarkable sighting, and I'll be sure to let you guys know tomorrow morning what I have found out about these incredible creatures, because I am just so intrigued to find out what was going on there. Yeah, so from male and male, it could have been 2 males, it could have been a male maybe just displacing another male in this area, could be a female and another male, which was amazing. The smile on my face is like this. Really incredible. But thank you so much for joining us. It's been wonderful. From us at Swalu, Final Control,
the rest of our colleagues from the continent. It's been absolutely fantastic having you on board with us today. The comments, the questions, it's been fantastic. So from our side, have a great one, and we'll see you for Sunrise Safari tomorrow. Have a great one. Cheers.
We are witnessing one of the most extraordinary scenes I have ever seen.
Hop on board the world's largest safari vehicle as we track down Africa's most iconic animals on our daily live shows.
This is crazy.
Captivating characters, breathtaking beauty, and daily drama.
Artwork, $1 million card. How insane is that animal?
Only on Wild Earth. This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Jumbo, a very good morning. It's another wonderful, lovely morning as we start our beautiful day.